The past year has seen the biggest expansion of state power in living memory. The relationship between citizens and the state has fundamentally shifted. The government has rushed through hundreds of draconian laws, rarely consulting Parliament, creating restrictions, criminal offences and penalties that would have been unthinkable a year ago. We accept that the government needs extraordinary powers to manage extraordinary situations, but when will this emergency end? The government isn't keen to give up their new powers anytime soon.
And I do think, looking at it, that we can turn the tide within the next 12 weeks.
I've no doubt that people will be able to have as normal a Christmas as possible. Then from the 21st of June, we will go to step 4 and say goodbye to most remaining restrictions.
It's crucial that the power grab ends now.
Right?
Yeah. What you up to?
On the way to work, mate.
Going to work?
Yeah.
Live round here?
Yeah, I live around here, mate.
Where do you live?
Clifford Road, mate.
Clifford Road.
Police forces have been handed extraordinary powers in the past year. Too often they've been abused, applied unlawfully or used disproportionately.
What's going on?
Why are you putting your hands behind your back?
What are you doing?
I was sitting on a bed. I was sitting on a bed.
What the hell are you doing to this woman?
You are
breaking your own laws, your own.
This is disgusting. What are you
The
doing?
Coronavirus Act contains some of the most extreme detention powers in modern legal history. Police, immigration officers, and public health officials can detain anyone, including children, who are potentially infectious and forcibly take biological samples. In a pandemic, potentially infectious could mean anyone.
No problem with providing details.
Why would I allow someone to just pull me over?
We're the police. We're not just someone, you idiot.
Huh? What? So just because you're the police, that
Yes.
gives you the right to stop anyone you want
Yes.
and get their details?
Because we're
you
enforcing-
need to be re-informed
Okay,
about
mate.
the law.
Let's have a-
Police have never used this new detention power for a lawful conviction, but over 240 innocent people have been wrongly prosecuted. We're not aware of any other law in this country, ever, that has only been used for unlawful prosecutions. These extreme powers have never been proven necessary for public health, but are a proven threat to our rights, justice, and the rule of law. They must be scrapped. The right to protest is under threat like never before. Over the past year, people protesting on a range of issues, from lockdowns to Black Lives Matter, from student protests to women's rights, have faced arrests, fines, and heavy-handed policing. The right to protest belongs to every single one of us. It is the most basic freedom. Without the ability to protest, can we still call the UK a democracy? It must be returned to us, fully and without constraint. Now, people are taking to the streets and taking their voices back. But the Coronavirus Act contains powers for ministers to single-handedly ban any type of gathering, including protests, vigils, and political assemblies.
For goodness sake, let us not allow this dystopia to endure one moment longer than strictly necessary.
And please let us make sure that not one single provision in this bill is in place for a minute longer than it has to be.
This Act in its current form allows clumsy and asymmetric authoritarianism. Powers to restrict mass gatherings might well have been necessary, but broad police powers under Schedule 21 to detain potentially infectious people have led to unlawful prosecutions 100% of the time.
When governments are handed powers, they are often reluctant to give them back. Now, we have to take these powers back. A year on since the Coronavirus Act was passed, our MPs are soon going to vote on whether to renew or repeal these extraordinary powers. A year ago, they pledged to repeal the Act as soon as they could. MPs cannot extend a law that has a 100% unlawful prosecution rate, that allows police to arbitrarily detain citizens, or that empowers ministers to put a blanket ban on protests. We have to turn the tide against draconian control. We have to reclaim our rights and freedoms. Tell your MP, repeal the Coronavirus Act.